All right, what is up, everybody? My name is Joel Fernandez, and welcome to another episode of My Gateway Experience. This is episode 12, and the purpose of these videos is to document my journey through the different focus tapes of the Monroe Institute's Gateway Experience. So there are a total of 6 waves, and I am on the first wave. So I'm just a beginner. It's only episode 12, and the the one that I'm on now is the Advanced Focus 10. And this tape that I'm on, I am on the eighth time, ninth time doing it. Today was the ninth time that I did it. So tonight will be the same thing because it's the ninth day, and then tomorrow will be the 10th day. So that'll be the last day that I'm doing the Advanced Focus 10 before I move on to the next tape. And so far, it has been a really interesting journey of subtleties and intuition. And if you haven't checked out my other videos, go ahead and check them out because I will be referencing quite a few of the points uh, that I've already addressed in those videos, and it's just getting more and more complicated. So let's get right into it. So today is September 5th, Monday, September 5th here, and it's Labor Day here in America. So most people aren't working. I will be working, and yesterday was one of the only days that I haven't worked in a while. I want to say in like maybe 2, 3 weeks. I worked straight, and then yesterday, but I don't do any crazy amount of work. It's not super stressful. I take it easy, so I enjoy what I do every single day. But this isn't about work. I just wanted to say that because it is 10:22 a.m. and I went to sleep at a good time yesterday. Uh, I still slept in. And the reason why is because of the dreams that I had. And I mean, sleeping in for me, I think, is different for most people. I like to wake up at like 5 in the morning, and that's really my goal right now is to push it back to that time and then slowly move it earlier and earlier. And I'm working on it, and I will get there. And so the dreams that I had, though, were definitely worth it. And I want to start out by saying that it started out with this, what I remember is just this lady, and it was like an older blonde lady. I want to say maybe in like her 30s or 40s, and she was a little bit smaller, and she kind of just said like, "Hey, I'm just livestock, I guess. That's just all I am as a human being here in America." And I don't remember exactly what happened after that, but that's just my most memorable reference of this dream. It's the first thing that I remember. And then after that, I became, I don't remember directly after, but maybe shortly after, maybe it was a clip after, I remember being a soldier and I was going to war. And this was sort of like a civil war. And um, the scene that I directly remember experiencing was uh, being in a big truck full of guys that are getting ready to be soldiers in this battle. And we are pulling into a warehouse, and this warehouse is filled with a material that we're going to need that's going to be essential for our victory. And we go in to find this material, and we plan to just go in and get out. And um, that's not exactly what happens because as the driver pulls in, the warehouse is a little bit smaller than we thought. So our truck actually hits the top of the warehouse and the building comes collapsing down. And it's because it was an ambush. They already knew we were planning on doing this, and they surrounded us. And as there's crossfire back and forth between both sides, I I get shot in the shoulder. So now I'm shot and I can't keep going on. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And it ends up being my cousin who's there. Um, he's fighting for the other side, and he's talking to his buddy as they capture me. They don't want to kill me, so and my cousin knows that because of me being shot, they're gonna torture me, and it's gonna be a very unpleasant experience for me. So they devise a plan to send me out of the country to be able to survive and start fresh. And the country they decide to send me to is my own country, is Dominican Republic, where I come from. And as they send me to Dominican Republic, I'm on the plane, and I there's some before that there's some talk about how all my I'm gonna be able to start over there. Things are different though, so don't expect it to be the same place that you came back or that you came from, and just be aware of that things are different. And then I'm on this plane, and then cut from me being on the plane on the way to the Dominican Republic to me seeing some fighter pilots. And these fighter pilots are my uncle and aunt, and they are not the parents of my cousin. It's a different side of the family. Uh, and my cousin is my mom's brother's son, and then these ones are actually my mom's cousins. So they're kind of like my uncles, my uncle and aunt. So anyway, so they are. My uncle has one eye because it was shot during, and this is in real life because he only has one eye because his somebody else shot him in the eye, and it was I think his brother shot him in the eye when he was growing up, and he lost his eye, and they were just playing with a like a play gun, or maybe it was a real gun, I don't remember, but he lost his eye at a very young age, as far as I know. But he's piloting this um, uh, fighter jet with his wife, and they are just going overhead, and they are doing some great maneuvers, and they're just flying all over the place, and they're being coached by somebody else who's kind of following them, and he's doing crazy maneuvers, almost like touching their plane. So like if they're coming over here, he's going like this, and like just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And then they finally say, okay, this is the time when we're going to eject. It's time to eject. Don't worry, the planes, they have autopilot. They'll make it back and land without us. This is just part of the exercise that we're doing here, is we're going to eject, and then we're going to land. So they eject, and then they put the parachute on, and they're following the guide, and the guide's like, land over here, and they're like, what is that? Like, well, it's actually the state-of-the-art technology. And what it was a floating building. It looked like almost like a floating structure, and it was really falling, but it was falling slower than they were. So they were falling, and so they landed on top of this like falling massive structure, and it had different parts, the structure that was in the air. And I don't know what this all means. This is a crazy, very complicated dream, but I felt like I wanted to share it because I think it's all part of this experience. How I would have never even remembered dreams before. And now I'm having these vivid, very detailed dreams, and they're quite adventurous. And it's cool that this one has flight in it. But so they land on these structures. There's a structure over here, and then there's another structure like this. It's like chunks of a building. It's like platforms in the air. And as one of them lands on the ground, they're already on top of one of them, and it's falling. And then there's other pieces that are falling. And so one of them lands on the ground, and it transforms into the base of a skyscraper. And then the other ones land on them on that one base, and they all start morphing into a skyscraper, almost like transforming blocks, with all fully set with windows and everything else. Like they eventually turn into a giant skyscraper, and then the other one turns into another giant skyscraper, and and they end up landing on top of it. So obviously they can just climb down the stairs and go into it. And the other people that are in the area, they landed in a place where there was going to be a building built, but this is just how the way they build buildings, I guess, in this day and age. So they just kind of land and then they transform into skyscrapers in my dream, whatever that means. But then there was another, I just remember seeing like somebody throw a clothesline. I think this was in the United States. I don't know why they would be using clotheslines because we have washers and dryers here, but anyway. And then they like hook a clothesline from the top of their building to this newly built building, and then they start kind of climbing or following the clothesline, trying to like make their way to this building to explore what was going on. And man, it got really detailed really quick. But I think that was pretty much my dream. I I'm losing track of the other things. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because as I woke up and I came to reality, another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is another dream that I had that I didn't talk about. I talked about bits and pieces of the dream at the library and the test and all that, but I think I had a dream the night before, or it was a dream that I was having that night leading into this dream, and it was basically just my dog had turned into an alligator, and he was half dog, half alligator, so it was like a very hairy alligator. And I was like wrestling him, and he was biting me with these alligator teeth, but I wasn't getting hurt, and I was like punching him. He was in my house, which was really the most concerning part because I was in the house, and we were like, "What is this alligator doing in our house?" And it was like, "Man, this is crazy." So we're like I was like punching the dog and trying to get him to like become a dog again because he was actually an alligator. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I forgot to mention it. I don't know if this is relevant to what's going on here, but I felt like I needed to share it. So there you go. And then I woke up today after having this detailed dream about wars and skyscrapers and corporations building their things and my aunt and uncle being part of this corporation thing as they're on this jet just doing their thing, landing on this skyscraper and all this. Um, Today I woke up and I was like, man, that was very detailed. I have to share this. This is very interesting. And so I remembered it, and then I just went into my practice as I usually do. I woke up at like 8 today. I think it's 10:33 right now, and I woke up at I want to say closer to 8:45, something like that. Um, but yeah, so I went ahead and read my scrolls. I did my meditation, and as I was doing it, I kept thinking of this dream. But I'm getting more adept at doing the practice. So as I was doing my energy conversion box, I put some slight anxieties that aren't really bothering me because of this practice. I'm getting really good at not letting things bother me, but just like very small little things. And then I went ahead and did my resonant energy breathing and then my rebow, and my rebow felt good. And then as I went into my focus 10, I had the intention of like really trying to be present, really trying to just forget about my dream and not try to think about it so much and just allow a new experience to unfold. And so I did my best to be present throughout the first focus 10, and that worked a little bit. And I heard some noise in the home, so I still want to wake up earlier so that doesn't bother me when I'm doing my practice, but that's something that I'm working on. And then as I went into my second focus 10, I heard Bob Monroe talking about how um, and I was present and all that during my first and my second focus 10. My body went to sleep and everything. But as I was listening to him talk about how if we breathe and we do the practice more and more, we'll be able to go in and out of the state more effortlessly with more simple techniques. For example, being able to just breathe deeply and then thinking of the number 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and then breathing out will be in focus 10, and then vice versa for focus 1, coming back to the present moment. And as he went quiet, I saw a pyramid, and I keep seeing pyramids. I haven't been talking about them too much, but I saw like a pyramid. Uh, it was like a 2D pyramid. And some of my other focus tens, I've seen like 3D pyramids that are kind of like doing circles and spins and stuff, just like in my as I close my eyes. But I was seeing a pyramid kind of leading into him talking, and then after he was done talking, I just was transported into a conversation with someone. And this person was a pharaoh or somebody from Egypt. I was in the desert, and they were talking to me about a project that they were working on. And they were like, come here, let me show you, let me show you. And it was this massive pit that he had dug into the ground where there was a bunch of alligators there. And I was like, man, this is really dangerous. In my mind, I was thinking like, this is really crazy. Somebody could really die if they, like fell in there or something. And for whatever reason, I felt like he was just trying to see if I trusted him. He just wanted to see if I could trust him, if I thought that if I had something that I was hiding or something, to see if I was scared of him potentially wanting to kill me or whatever. But I wasn't, and I was just kind of like, okay, that's very interesting. What are you using this project for? Like, kind of like, what do you got going on here? And then that was basically the end of the conversation, and then I left that scene to come back to reality. And there's so many different ways that I could interpret this, but all I want to talk about really is my progression in these different focus tapes as I go into the next tape, as this is the ninth day doing it, and tomorrow will be my last day doing the advanced focus 10. And man, what a trip. I am no longer as afraid of as I used to be, I think, of the unknown. I feel like there's certain things that I have to do on a day-to-day basis, different tasks that I thought were bigger than me to an extent. That's just one way of saying it. But now I feel like they're smaller than me. I feel like I can visualize the things that I need to do and really just walk into them and get them done. And I'm not really scared of like whether I trust myself to do them or not, or to be able to have the right behavior or not during different aspects of life as we walk through it. I think a lot of that is because of uh, my calmness and the practice that I'm doing, obviously, and just the realization that there's no reason to force things, that everything that is supposed to happen is going to happen, that everything happens for a reason, and that we just have to kind of walk along our path into whatever destination we intend to get to. And that brings me to another point of being in the focus 10 and practicing it is really allowing myself to not be afraid of leaving my body behind, to really not be afraid of dying. I think that that's something that I'm coming to a big realization on now, is like as I'm kind of really allowing my body to fall asleep and I'm having these dreams as my body is supposed to be unconscious and they're so vivid, and I'm going into these different states. I just feel like I'm really not afraid of those kinds of things, of like kind of leaving my body behind. I just feel like we go on after our body is gone, and it's like energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed, and we are energy beings. So I am not so afraid to like bilocate. I am more encouraging myself to be in two places at once, obviously in my physical body, and then I, I can only be somewhere right now as I perceive it in my imagination. And I think that's how it starts out. I think it starts out with it being our quote unquote imagination. And then we have confirmations of those things actually happening, those events being related to real physical people. And, it's like going into the past. How could I possibly confirm that that is actually something that happened? Or going into the future, how can I possibly confirm that that is actually something that happened? I can't right now. I just have to believe and have faith, and that's something that has grown within me these past few practices. As this is episode 12 in our gateway experience, and I'm so excited to just move on and get into these higher levels of energy and really trusting other people that are more experienced. I think that a lot of the times I was so afraid of trusting more experienced people because I thought that they had maybe a poor intention in their heart. And I think a lot of that may be because of the experiences that I've had in the past or something like that. I'm not really sure why necessarily, but I just know that it's something that I had. I think other people have it as well. Is like maybe not trusting people that are further along in their journey than you are. Because for whatever reason, I felt like they just had a poor intent of like trying to just take advantage to further their own goals. But I think that there are some people that really do want to just give to not only further their own goals, but also to further your goals and for it to be a win-win. Because I find myself in that situation now where that's what my intention and what I want to do. And I know that that's what I want to do with people that are not as far along as I am. So why wouldn't there be somebody further along than me that is in the same position that I am now? So I think that's the main reason why that has been resolved. But that's how I feel. I feel that way, and I feel that I want to keep moving forward, and I want to interact with more and more people, and I want to share my experience with more and more people, and see what they're going through and what they are experiencing. So if you are somebody that's watching this now, feel free to reach out. Let's communicate. Let's see what we can do together. And I think that's going to pretty much wrap this video up. I feel great. I feel good that I had a day off yesterday, and I am looking forward to enjoying my day today. So until next time, I will see you guys soon. Peace.